Right then, it is time to welcome our first guest to the show. It's only Sir Brian May. Hello.
Come on. Brian, welcome to the One Show. Well, outside of music, we understand that your passion, you've got a strong passion for wildlife conservation, and you've made a very, very powerful documentary about bovine TB.
And you've seen it.
Yeah, and how it affects wildlife and farming communities.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about it and why you wanted to make the documentary.
I wanted to make it in the beginning because I've continually been shocked that we're killing thousands and thousands of native animals, and I couldn't believe that it was actually going to work. And what is there really a reason for doing this? I'm still shocked and horrified, you know, morally, I suppose, but also as a scientist, I wanted to find the truth. So my journey, as you'll see in the documentary, BBC 2, 9 o'clock, Friday. Tomorrow, isn't it? It's tomorrow? No, Friday.
Don't you worry, we've got the plug at the end. Don't you worry.
Plug. The reason we wanted to do the documentary was to share what we found out, and it's a journey that's been shared with. It's not just me; it's me and a wonderful CEO of Save Me. You know, our charity, animal charity, is Save Me. Plus, we teamed up with a wonderful farmer called Robert Reed in the West Country in Devon, and his incredibly talented vet, Dick Sibley. So it's a team of 4 with a lot of people helping us, and we'd set out from the bottom to try and find out what the truth was. Were the badgers relevant? What was going wrong? Why was the problem still there? So that's what you see in the documentary.
Now, Brian, as you said, you spent some time with some of the farmers to see firsthand how the disease affects their livelihoods. So let's take a look.
Yeah.
She is a reactor. So, unfortunately, the next step to that is that we tag. That tag then identifies that cow, basically, as a reactor.
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Cows are part of our family. When you load up your best animals to go to slaughter in the prime of life, how long are we expected to do this?
My overriding feeling is farmers deserve better.
I mean, that was emotional to watch, and we know it's a topic that really divides opinion, especially between wildlife groups and farming communities. You've been trying to bring them together, haven't you, and hopefully find a solution.
That's exactly right. When we came into it, everybody's shouting and nobody's listened. We thought we should bring people together and find the truth, which is what I believe we've done. So I started off trying to save the badgers, and I still am, but basically we're trying to save the farmers now, which you will see, and the cattle. It's a tragedy all round. It's a terrible, awful mess. And we think that we've made the discoveries which can, in the future, help those farmers solve the problems and get rid of bovine TB, stop killing the badgers, end of story. We believe we cracked it.
And Brian, as part of the documentary, you've been involved in some new research around the disease, which you go on to discover. But this is just one study. But what did you and the team find out?
A lot of things, really. The first thing we found out was that the skin test, which the farmers have to go through every 60 days normally, is incredibly inaccurate. So you're supposed to be taking out the infected animals to save the rest of the animals, but in fact you're not finding all the infected animals. So what happens is you leave the infected cow in the herd. It's not only infected, it's infectious. We discovered that by PCR testing. So it's no wonder that the disease gets perpetuated in the herd. Once it's in there, you're not going to get rid of it unless you apply really strict hygiene within the herd. And we used enhanced testing to find out exactly where the pathogen was, try to cut off the roots of infection within the herd. We believe that's the secret of success.
Now, the programme does hear from farmers who do strongly disagree with you, and you've presented some of your findings to the farmers at Aberystwyth University, including some of your biggest critics. After the type of career that you've had, you've played to millions of people worldwide. How did that compare?
It was tough. We ended up friends, which is good. We had a sort of mutual respect, because they understand that I'm in this because I really do care, not just about the badgers, but about the cows, about the people, the farmers and their families. Compared to playing to 250,000 people in Queen, hard to say, you know. They're both tough calls, and I was really nervous in Aberystwyth. You know, they're going to throw stones at me. At least in a Queen show, you know, they're going to be mainly friendly. But we've ended up being very friendly with all the farmers that you see in the documentary, and we will continue that way. And we have started, this is Stop Press, we now are going to start a clinic. It's going to be the Save Me TB clinic. down in Gatcombe where we've done our research. So anyone who's interested, after they see the documentary, any farmers who are interested in talking about it, if they're not happy with the present situation, can come down, we exchange ideas, we can give what we've discovered and work on TB together.
And this documentary was 14 years in the making?
Essentially, yes. I mean, 6 years filming, but our journey took 14 years, from the time when David Cameron announced he was going to cull. Because the previous government didn't, under Hilary Benn, they didn't cull badgers. They didn't believe it was going to work, and it hasn't worked. And people knew. I mean, there was a thing called the RBCT, and the results were brought in 2007. It was an experiment to see if culling badgers would work, and the conclusion of that whole massive experiment, in which they killed thousands of badgers, was culling badgers can make no meaningful contribution to the control of bovine TB in cattle. It's very clear, but the government for the last 12 years has ignored that. And we've killed nearly 250,000 badgers, and the situation isn't any better than it was. Some people will tell you it is better, but we know better. Talk to the farmers. You'll see in the documentary.
You will see, and you can catch Brian's new documentary, The Badgers, the Farmers and Me, on Friday evening at 9 o'clock on BBC Two and iPlayer.
Yeah, time now to welcome our next guest. BAFTA-winning comedian Mo Gilligan has been, well, he's been persuading some of his celebrity friends to sit down with him and reveal their best showbiz stories for all of these brand new podcasts. Let's take a look.
Tom Hardy came out of my house one day. He phoned me up and he said, I'm going to be in your part of London. I said, all right, Tom. He said, I was going to pop by, and he's got a son. And he said, I think he didn't know what to do with his son. So he came up, and it was him, his son, and his personal trainer, this nice guy, whose nickname was Peanut. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, the weirdest day. I took the kid in the garden, and we played in the garden one. And then at one stage, Tom was telling me about his workout routine. His workout routine, he had the trailer had to carry him upstairs. He had to carry the trainer upstairs. Yeah. And he picked me up and showed me how he could carry me up the stairs. And I thought, no one's going to believe that Tom Hardy has come from my house. He's carrying me in my own house upstairs.
Power and greed.
Please welcome Mo Gilligan.
Wait, Mo, I know as you were just watching that, you want to be carried up the stairs as well, right?
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'll tell you the truth.
But Mo, that is your brand new podcast. It's called Beginning, Middle and End. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, you know, it came from an idea where a lot of people, I've only been doing like TV for like, let's say like five years, not a long time, Brian. So a lot of people was asking me about my journey, and they had their version of it. I was like, oh, you know, you worked in retail, Drake came along and that's it. You're on The Masked Singer. And that's not really how it happened. So I had to really tell people what my origin story was. But then I started questioning where I am now in life. And then once I'd done a show, I used to do these work in progresses, right? And someone said, oh, you know, I'd say like, oh, ask me a question. People say, oh, how did the geezer come along? You know, what's it like working with Big Nasty? And then someone said, what do you want your legacy to be? And it threw me off. So I kept thinking of that and what I want to do and how I want to apply myself. So I put all these things together in a nice little podcast and just get, you know, guests on, and we go from the beginning, middle and end. Yeah.
I like it. Well, we saw a clip already. We saw that you've handpicked certain people.
Yes.
Jonathan Ross, we know you sit alongside him.
Why you guys say certain people like where was the call?
Wait for the call. We didn't get the call up.
Even Brian's looking at me like, right, you can't give me a call.
None of us here. Now you're feeling the heat, Mo. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
But
We're all available, aren't we?
Putting our hands up, Brian. In terms of having Jonathan on, did you learn anything new about him?
Yeah, you know, Jonathan's a really interesting character. I'm lucky enough to do Masked Singer with him. And when I got to go on his show, that was one of my, like, I feel like I've made it moments. And it's always interesting when you feel like you know someone, but they tell you something about them that you're like, I never thought that you would do that. You know, in his spare time, he's very into like his model collection, and he's got a huge comic book collection and stuff. And in his spare time, he just says, yeah, I know, I like building my models. That's what I like doing as a hobby. And yeah, just an array of people he's met and knows, and the stories he has. It's yeah, it's like whenever I'm around him, it's just like my granddad who's got these cool stories. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I took away from him. Yeah, like
watching.
Yeah, I kind of learned that like the older you get is just to have like, you know, like I understand why I see older men and they put their hands behind their back and they just look. Have you ever seen this? Have you seen this?
No.
Man? When they just walk around.
I know what you mean.
And they walk around slow. And I never used to understand it. And I realised the older you get, you just want to really appreciate time. So I feel like that's what I kind of got from Jonathan a little bit, yeah.
Now, with your career so far, you've met some incredible people. That contact list is bulging. At this point, who would be your ultimate celebrity interview?
Ultimate celebrity guests. Okay, you know, obviously you guys are not busy because you're very, 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 very busy. But Ian Wright's one of them.
Righty.
We love Uncle Ian.
Everyone loves
a childhood
Righty.
hero. I'm a huge Arsenal fan. That'll be wicked for me. Another one is Dame Judi Dench. Right, I was in Edinburgh, and Jay Blades got out of a cab, and he was with Dame Judi Dench, and I was like, oh my God, that is. Before it's Dame Judi Dench, that's M from 007. You know when you know someone as a character, like, it's a bit like if I seen Phil Mitchell, I'm like, that's Phil Mitchell first. I'm so sorry, but I was like, oh my God. And then, you know, Jay, I know Jay a little bit. He was like, oh, how's it going, Mo? Listen, man, this is Dame. How's it going? And I met her, and she was so nice.
Great, isn't she?
She was so lovely.
This is Dame. Sorry, can you rewind back to that?
Yeah, it was Dame Judi Dench. She was so nice. She goes, hello, nice to meet you. How are you? Her hands, so soft. Oh, my God. She's using all of the cocoa butter. She got the softest hands. One of the most loveliest people I think I've ever met. So she was someone I was very, very starstruck, man.
Wait, Mo,
So,
talking about being starstruck and everything, I know you've just come back from the US, you finished your world tour
yes.
over there.
Yeah.
You found a nice place to play some football?
Oh yeah, so whenever I'm away, my hobby is just playing a bit of football. And I was out there, and a friend was like, "Listen, we're gonna go play football on Monday at Rod's house. Are you coming?" So I'm like, "Rod, that's an interesting name." I was like, "Oh, okay." And you say, "Rod who?" My friend was like, "Rod Stewart." I said, "What? A whole Rod Stewart?" So we played football at his house. I don't know if he knows that I've ever been there playing football, but I was playing my best. Oh man, I was playing my best. There's this one kid, right? He kept doing skills. I said, "Pass the ball, man." My friend said, "You know whose son it is?" I said, "Who?" He said, "That's Madonna's son." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Bro, express yourself. Do what you need to."
Mo, I'm sure we're going to hear more about all these stories on your podcast. Mo's podcast, beginning, middle and end. It's available now on Global Player or wherever you get your podcasts.
Right, that's about all we've got time for tonight. So thank you so much to our guests, Brian, Mo, and of course Matt. And tomorrow I'll be back here with Alex Jones, and we'll be joined by actor David Oyelowo, Sir Tom Jones, Will.i.am. So you guys have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Whoop.